Hello, Patriots, segment 213 today. Titling this one President Trump's Davos Speech and the End of Globalism. I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch his hour and 36-minute speech. About the last 10 minutes of it, took some questions. Had a question and answer period. So I don't know if you watched it. It was good. He looked a tad tired. But then a 6 hour time difference, that can have some effect on you. For those of you that didn't listen to it, I just want to I just want to point out some quotes of his that stuck out to me. I won't keep you too long. So here we go. He said, economic growth will grow like this country has never seen before. $20 trillion of investments have been made in this country since he's taken office. When the U.S. booms, the rest of the world booms. That you too, he was talking to the representatives out there, the leaders, if you want to call them that you too can hopefully, following what we're doing, will make your place better, because some places in Europe, he said, are no longer recognizable. Decades before, it was conventional wisdom that the only way to grow an economy was through endless government spending, unchecked mass migration, and endless foreign imports. Basically, he's saying that that's going to end. Mass migration is destroying countries, he said. 270,000 people removed from the federal government payroll, the largest removal in the history of the United States in 1 year. He has cut 129 old regulations for every one new regulation instituted. He said that the U.S. has slashed the trade deficit by 77% with no inflation. He goes on to mention that all these pundits and economic gurus out there were all crying when he started cutting tariffs that inflation was going to skyrocket. Well, it didn't. He knows what he's doing. Factory construction is up 41%. That's a good thing. Oil production is up by 730,000 barrels of oil per day. Nuclear reactors are being built. He commented that Venezuela is now cooperating, that Maduro is gone. For the most part, they are, but the person they have in there now, Delcy, she's just as bad as Maduro. He said more people should do that. Said that the AI data centers must have their own power sources. I was not aware of this. No more sucking up power from the communities that they're near. I hope this is retroactive and has to be done for the other 4,000 that have over 4,000 that have already been built in the country. He did mention that again, that they'll be creating their own power, and if they generate more than they need, they can sell some of that power back to the communities. He talked a little bit about Germany and UK's energy production is very bad. They're relying on Green New Deal scam type of energy. China makes the windmills, he says, but they don't have any of them in their country. They just sell them to the stupid people in the world, he says. Immigration is destroying Europe. We want a strong Europe, not a weak one. That was a powerful statement. We are a great power, more powerful than people think. Let's see, what else did he say? We saved Greenland for Denmark during World War II. After the war, we gave it back to Denmark, and look how ungrateful they are. And he said we need Greenland for national security, and he's going to get Greenland. Um, I have no doubt in my mind. This is me talking now. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to end up with Greenland. Denmark, I mean, there's 67, I believe 67,000 people living in that country. Denmark said that they would spend 200 million in defense of Greenland, and they only spent like 1% of that 200 million. They don't care about that country, not one bit. Then he goes on to say, let me see, U.S. is treated unfairly by NATO. We give so much and get so little in return. And he did point out the financial, how much we're giving NATO, and that he told NATO, you're going to have to start coughing up some cash, and he went into that a little bit. People will be prosecuted for their role in cheating during the 2020 election. There's more and more news coming out about that. Obviously, he's not going to. He's just going to put out these little tidbits. If the wheels are in motion to do this, there are thousands of people that could be arrested. With Pam, I don't know. I have my doubts. But yes, there's thousands of people all the way down to the auditor level that could be arrested for what happened in 2020 and what's happening now. I mean, there was cheating in 2022, cheating in 2024. Thousands could be arrested. Let's see. He says, we give so much to countries around the world and we get nothing in return. And he also pointed out that we don't ask for anything either. The U.S. was paying 100% for NATO. Ukraine should be Europe's problem, not the U.S. Now, one would say, well, yes, that's true. Ukraine should not be our problem, but yet President Trump is over there. He's over there because he's a peacetime president. I mean, obviously, if he would have gotten elected in 2020, this war over there would never have started. He points out that the main reason why he wants it to end, he gave statistics on how many troops have been killed every month for the last 3 or 4 months. He said, I want the killing to stop. These troops are dying needlessly, and that's why he wants it to stop. Again, why are we there instead of Europe helping? That's President Trump. That's what he does. He's a peace president. He wants this to end. Why Europe isn't more invested? They're still pussies. They don't. First of all, they don't want to spend any money to stop it, and second of all, they supposedly don't want to piss off Putin because they think that he's going to come after them, which is bullshit. He goes on to say, I don't have to use force to get what we want. I can use other things. And he can. He can. He has many tools in his shed that he can utilize to get what he wants. He doesn't have to use the military. We haven't gotten anything out of NATO. All we're asking for is Greenland. This will help NATO yet again. He goes on to say, the Prime Minister, Mark, from Canada, had a speech at Davos, and he talked a lot of bullshit. And so President Trump said, Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, before you make your statements. He went after him. He doesn't think that NATO would be there for us if someone attacked the U.S., but they know we would be there for them. That's a huge statement. That's so true. NATO can either say yes, you can have Greenland, or you can say no, and we will remember. Economic security is national security. True statement. True statement. If your country's going to shit economically, your national security falters. He said tariffs raised on a lot of countries because of the drug prices for pills. The rest of the world was controlling the prices. He gave an example of a certain pill. He didn't name the pill, but this pill would cost $10 in London. He said in the United States is $150 per pill. He said that's got to stop. The rest of the world was controlling the prices of the pills, and they were screwing us over. That is now changing. The U.S. drug prices will start coming down. This was a good one. This was a shot across the bow. I like this one. New Fed chairman coming soon. Jerome Too Late Powell is no good. I don't know why he's still keeping him around. Maybe he's hoping he'll resign. I don't know. Many countries are making bank off of us. Without us, they would fall. He brought up Switzerland in particular. They made $41 billion off of us, and we got nothing. We got nothing for it. He was talking about the watches from Switzerland. 41 billion off of us, and we got nothing for it. So he imposed tariffs on Switzerland. Time to get some of that money back. He says that 2025 was the first time that the U.S. had reverse migration, but we have a lot, and this is my thoughts. We have a long way to go. I'm pushing. I would love to see migration, all forms of migration, halted for a minimum of 10 years. I've done a video on it. All visa holders need to leave the country. And then, of course, we've got to get the illegals out. He was talking about Minnesota, and he said, Somalian bandits have a higher IQ than I thought. Look at all their fraud. He mentioned something about crypto and Bitcoin. I don't know why he's stuck on that. I mean, crypto and Bitcoin, you can't buy anything with it. It's shit money, if you want to call it that. It's fake money. You only can exchange it online. But for some reason he's into that. Okay, fine. But I'm not going to buy any of the shit. So if he wants to keep pushing that, that's fine. And so that, doesn't seem like a lot, but those are the quotes that stuck out to me. He talked a lot about Greenland. He talked a lot about the countries in migration, basically an invasion. He elaborated on a lot of stuff. I was just picking out the quotes. But one thing is for sure, his speech was nothing but America first. I believe that his message was this. If the group in the room took it as such, that the United States has propped up the world financially for generations, and we really have asked for nothing in return. The United States has always been there for the world, and has not received really anything in return. We can go through the history as far as how we've helped Europe. But those days are now over. It's time for the rest of the world to get smart and start taking care of their own. He kept saying at the end, praising all the smart people in the room. There's a bunch of smart people in this room. You should know what to do. You're all a bunch of, there's a lot of smart people. He said that quite often. I noticed that he does that a lot. He smooths these people over right before he gets something from them. He doesn't do that for everybody. He just does that for, the leaders throughout the world, or people that he knows are corrupt, but he wants to keep them in his back pocket. In reality, he's a very genuine guy. But when it comes to these world leaders, he was talking down to them respectfully, in most instances. Other than that Canada remark, um, but I think this speech got their. I'm hoping this speech got their attention. Now the object of the WEF World Economic Forum, um, that was putting on this dog and pony show is world dominance. And to make fat cats even fatter financially. That's it. The end. That's their goal. And President Trump is turning their world upside down now and taking away that power. He knows that the WEF wants to take down the United States. The United States is the main prize for any country that hates us. But he also knows that he's never going to allow that to happen. He literally has the upper hand. The global cabal is now voicing their thoughts even more because they know that their power is going away. So you've seen more of them out there talking their bullshit. But do they, in the scheme of things, do they really think? I mean, maybe they've thought of this, maybe they haven't. If they haven't thought about this, then they're not as smart people as President Trump makes them out to be. But do you think that Europe, that is now being invaded by the jihadists, if the global cabal thinks that they can control Europe with the jihadists taking over the countries, then they are stupid, because there is no way in hell the jihadists are gonna fall for the shit that the global cabal's got in store for them. They could care less about the globalists. They had their own agenda, and that is to get rid of everybody that they possibly can, that doesn't follow Islam, including the globalists. The world relies on this country for stability. There's no getting around that. While the dollar fluctuates, it's still one of the strongest currencies around and used the most. Now there are some countries he did mention, like Denmark, that wants to get rid of our securities. He said, but that would be a big mistake on their part. 27% of the world's economy rests on the shoulders of the U.S. 27%. There isn't one country, when you think about it, there isn't one country in the world we couldn't destroy economically, even China. Why we don't do it is a mystery to me. I mean, it would be so easy for us to do it. I can tell you that, as you probably know, China's hurting right now with taking down Venezuela and stopping those tankers that are illegally taking oil in their direction. China's economy is going to start tanking. It already was teetering, but you cut off the oil supply to China, and that's going to hurt them big time. Maybe we don't take them down because we're relying on too much goods coming in from China. Go to Walmart, go on Amazon. 98% of the products that they have at Walmart, other than the food and Amazon, is all made in China. I believe when he said he loves Europe, he said that quite a few times. But what I think he should have said when he made that statement that he loves Europe, he should have then made the announcement, look, I love Europe, but I don't like the direction that it's going. So what I'm going to tell you now is you have 1 month to begin the cleansing of all the jihadist invaders in your countries. And you have 6 months to a year to remove them all, or we will remove every military base in Europe. Personally, I do that anyway. But give them the option. Maybe he's telling them that on the phone when he's talking to them. I don't know. I haven't talked to President Trump lately, but I think there's probably something in there. He might not be using the bases as his talking points, but I'm sure he's rattling their cages. And now it's been announced that we've cut ties with the WHO, the World Health Organization, after 77 years of paying them and listening to their bullshit. We're done. That's what I voted for. That to get out of the WHO, to take down the WEF. I want us out of NATO. I want the UN thrown out of New York. Those are all things that I voted for. And eventually, I mean, he's still got 3 years left. Eventually that might happen. So we have energy independence again. We have undoubtedly, you can look at the numbers as far as troop strength and hardware and things like that. But I believe that we have the best military in the world. Again, we need to halt all forms of migration for at least 10 years. Manufacturing, he said, is coming back. I hope that we can bring back all manufacturing for everything that we buy from overseas. Once we get there, I think some form of isolationism is called for. Time for the rest of the world to see how well they can live without us. Either they jump on board with us, or they falter. I mean, now Canada's siding with China. They're trying to do some deals with China. They're barking down the wrong tree, because China would love to infiltrate Canada because they're right next to us. That helps them out. But anyway, President Trump, when you look at the whole scope of his speech, I believe he definitely is strategizing for the future of this country. And there's no doubt that he's at least 3 steps ahead of all the world leaders. He knows we have all the power. He knows we have all the cards. He's in the process now of making that a reality and trying to convince the idiots overseas that their options are now limited. Anyway, that's all I got, people. If you see this sign, this is the international sign for distress. If you see somebody doing this, they are in trouble. And if you can safely help them as soon as possible, the better you will make their lives. That's all I got, people. Have a good one.